You know what rhymes with flight review? Air do.
What did he say?
Now that I have your attention, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be taking a look at yet another Japanese 767, this time of Hokkaido's Air do. There are at least 50 round trips daily between Sapporo and Tokyo, and this evening we will be taking flight HD36, which takes us from Sapporo's Shin-Chitose airport to Tokyo-Haneda. We start this trip review from a cold and windy Sapporo city. Sapporo is located in Hokkaido, which is essentially Japanese Alaska. It's smack dab in the middle of November, which means that compared to the rest of the country where it's still summer, Sapporo is quite cold at around 5 degrees Celsius. And after taking the scenic train here from Hakodate and spending 6 hours checking out the city and its rubber-tired metro, it was time to get back to Yokohama where I left my luggage. For an 8 PM flight, I caught the 624 Airport Rapid train from the big station. Sapporo has 2 airports. Okadama is located in the city and only serves smaller domestic flights. Meanwhile, Shin-Chitose is around 50 kilometers or 30 miles southeast of the big city and is the main hub for Hokkaido. This airport opened in 1988, replacing the adjacent old Chitose airport, which began service in 1963. The train ride took 40 minutes. And I do remember taking advantage of a seat reservation as I had a Japan Rail Pass. And that was a good idea since the service was full of people in the vestibule. The train station at the airport is located at the domestic side, and rightfully so as that's where most people are going. The stores all around offered a great variety of Hokkaido exclusives, and this is useful if you know Japanese office culture. Long story short, there's a tradition called omiyage. And basically this is a tradition where if you travel, you are expected to bring back delicacies for your bosses and your colleagues at your workplace. So it goes beyond bringing back stuff for your relatives and loved ones. At the domestic terminal, each airline has its own check-in and security. Mind you, it's about 7:20 and about 30 minutes until the gates close. Having only a backpack and a light jacket to scan made things a bit faster, but honestly not by much. And that's a good thing. And at Gate 5 we see our 767-300ER to be used on our flight back south. This is Juliet Alpha 605 Alpha. While it sounds like an ANA registration ending in Alpha, it actually adds up. It was delivered to ANA in 2002 and flew with them until 2021 when it was transferred to Air do. Now this will have been my 4th Japanese 767. I took a round trip on JAL's Vancouver service in January 2020. 3 years later I flew on the sister aircraft 609 Alpha from Tokyo to Osaka, and I have a review of that on my channel. Now outside of the US, Japan still flies their 767s quite regularly. Long story short, both ANA and JAL took deliveries of 767s as late as 2011 because of delays to their Dreamliner orders. And because of the established support network in the country, these 767s won't be going anywhere anytime soon. At the time of posting, Air do's 767s only serve routes between Tokyo, Haneda, and Hakodate, Sapporo, and Asahikawa, which is a city in Hokkaido known for its ski resorts. Looking around the terminal even further, there is a decent selection of food and last-minute gift shops. Now it's turning out to be a busy Tuesday evening going back south. And it's not because of people buying out the Hatsune Miku snow bentos. No. I think it's because it's the tail end of the November Culture Day long weekend. That was the day before on the 4th, and I want to guess that these are all the people who took the extra day off. That said, Tokyo-Sapporo is a busy route to begin with at least 50 round trips daily across a few carriers. Now the bullet train is expected to begin service between Hakodate and Sapporo in about 10 years, but I feel like people would rather take a 90-minute flight for 15,000 yen over a 5-hour bullet train ride for about the same price. Now speaking of busy, let's head on over to the airliner. Heading inside, we see the familiar 232 configuration, and compared to the last 767 I took, this one is a single class cabin with 288 seats. During taxi, the safety video was displayed on the screens. And as we prepare for takeoff, just a little bit on the airline. Air do was founded in 1996 to compete domestically in Japan with ANA and JAL. That year, a deregulatory measure was put in place for domestic flight pricing, which allowed carriers to set their own prices. The first flights took off in December 1998, and since then Air do has been connecting Hokkaido to the rest of Japan as far as Fukuoka. Today's flight is the busy HD36, which will take us from Sapporo to Tokyo-Haneda with a landing at about 21:40, a trip time of around 1 hour and 40 minutes. The takeoff is from 19 right.
all passengers, we will be taking off shortly. Please fasten your seatbelts tight and low. Thank you.
There isn't much to see outside, so let's do our seat tour. My seat was 28A on the left side of the aircraft. As this is a former ANA aircraft, not much is different. The seats come without an IFE console and are equipped with a folding tray table. The legroom was generous for a short person, and the seat back pockets contained the air sickness bag, the safety card, and the in-flight magazine which had the instructions to access the IFE through your device. Even though they are in Japanese, there is enough info from a visual standpoint. Each seat also came with a manual window shade, as well as outlet plugs under the seat. Now I don't know if it's me, but the IFE actually impressed me the most. I was able to get on using a second phone I had with me. Users are able to access the onboard shop, food and drink options, the flight map, as well as a decent choice of video and audio to play on your device. And that way the airline doesn't spend money on those low quality earbuds. That said, I feel like there's some luck involved in having everything connected properly in the first place. With 12 planes total in its fleet, these aircraft fly routes no longer than 2 hours tops. So for someone taking air due for the first time, I think the selection is pretty good for these domestic routes. The bathroom was clean to Japanese standards. Although there is no bidet, there is still a changing table and working sinks and toilets. The added bonus was this bag with a lavender scent, which slightly reduced bad odors. Coming back, there was a drink service, and I liked the choice by the marketing department to promote the different destinations on the cups. But please bear with me because I forgot what I asked for. Anyways, I feel like having a drink service is a step beyond for such a short flight. It's much appreciated. And after about 85 minutes, we make our final descent into Haneda and land on runway 34 right. So what's my take on Airdu's 767? Well, it does the job pretty well, especially as a domestic carrier. I don't think I'm one to expect a whole lot, but I think the service went quite well. In fact, according to Flight Radar 24, we arrived a few minutes early to the gate. I was a big fan of two things during the whole experience. One was the quick security screening at Shin-Chitose, and the other was the straightforward in-flight entertainment options on your own device. Now, how much did this trip cost? Well, I bought this ticket around 1 month before my scheduled flight. This turned out to be a fare of 12,800 yen, and that included a free seat selection since all aircraft on Airdu have economy seats. Airdu prices their seats in tiers, and long story short, your flight is cheapest when it is booked at least 75 days in advance, and that means I could have bought tickets for 8,800 yen. However, there's one very important thing you need to do when booking your ticket. Write down your confirmation number. It's kinda odd that they don't send it to you through your email, but rather they drill it into you during the booking process. Now your reservation code is 9 numbers long, and the clerks will ask you for it when checking in. As for baggage, the fare allows you to bring one checked luggage up to 20 kilograms and one carry-on up to 10 kilograms at no extra charge. However, this wasn't something I had to deal with as I left my luggage at Yokohama station for one night. And that's pretty much it. I got back to Yokohama on time to pick up my luggage, check into the next hotel, and rest for the night. If you would like more trip reviews in Japan, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Gojousha arigatou gozaimashita.